The Rumor Report. With Angela Yee.
It's The Rumor Report.
The Breakfast Club.
Well, Meek Mill is finally out. Now, hopefully, he has his hearing in June still.
Mm-hmm.
So that still is going to happen. He spoke to Page 6, and he talked about just getting released. He said he still has work to do to get his original conviction overturned, and it was based on the evidence of an alleged corrupt cop, so he wants to make sure that he also shines a light on others who are trapped in a failing criminal justice system. He said he was in his cell when he found out that he was actually getting out. He said, I was watching the news, and they said I'm free. I immediately said a quick prayer and got ready to go. So apparently this was outside of the specific visiting times and phone calls that he's allowed to get. So that's why he saw that from watching television, because his people couldn't actually contact him personally. He said his greatest joy is being reunited with his son, who he's barely seen during the 5 months he's been in jail because he didn't want his son to see his dad in jail. He also said he wanted to take the time to thank all of his supporters, fans, and friends who have campaigned for his release. He did a post. I'd like to thank God, my family, my friends, my attorneys, my team at Rock Nation, including Jay-Z, Desiree Perez, my good friend Michael Rubin, my fans. And Michael Rubin, by the way, came and picked him up in his helicopter and took him to the 76ers game. He's the co-owner of the 76ers. He personally escorted Meek Mill from prison to the arena to be the guest of honor for Game 5 against the Miami Heat. And Meek even got to ring the bell before tip-off. Of course, he had a son with him, and Kevin Hart was there as well. Here's what Kevin Hart had to say upon seeing Meek Mill.
We home! My God, home! I say we home, no, Meek! Meek got fat as he got fat.
Meek definitely got his freshman 15 on, but dropping the clues bombs for Meek Mill. Salute to Meek. I'm glad his case is exposing a crooked judicial system in Philly, and I hope all the other people who have been victims of that crooked judicial system get justice as well and get to come home, because those guys don't have the powerful, influential people speaking for them that Meek does.
Well, it's still not over. Here's Meek Mill's lawyer, Joe Tacopina.
Honestly, I don't care what she does anymore. The Supreme Court really cut her off at the pass, because what they said was the bail order is to stay in place even if there are continued hearings that cause her not to overturn this case, because if the defense appeals it, he's to stay out on bail while there's an appeal. Eventually, a court that doesn't have a bias as a vendetta against him is going to do the right thing. So we're not worried that this case is ever going to stand, because the prosecutor and the defense both agree the case needs to be dismissed for constitutional violations and overturned. He's never going back to jail.
So let's be clear. The only reason that he's out on bail right now is because the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overruled what the judge had to say, the judge Denise Brinkley. Now, the judge is still not planning to step down from this case. She's still planning to have this hearing in June. And she actually had her lawyer speaking for her. Now, according to her lawyer, A. Charles Peruto, he told TMZ the judge does not feel the Supreme Court in any way repudiated her rulings when it ordered that Meek go free without bail pending the next hearing in June. And that next hearing will determine if the drug and a weapons case should be thrown out because of that testimony from the crooked cop that we discussed earlier.
That's kind of crazy, though, to have a judge that's that biased still on the case.
Yeah, they can't get her out of there. This is crazy.
And she probably feel like she got something to prove because she got overruled. Like, you can't have her presiding over no case.
Not when the prosecutor's saying, no, he should be free. We should drop this.
According to her lawyer, there were other cops who testified in the case, in the original case, and if their credibility is intact, then the judge might not overturn the conviction.
And never forget, all you Philly folks called into the Breakfast Club, all of y'all except for Q Deezy, and said y'all would rather the Eagles win a championship than have Meek released. And God must really be on Philly's side nowadays, because not only did they get the Super Bowl, Meek got released a few months later, and the Sixers look like they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Jesus Christ.
Now, what are the stipulations? Is he on house release? Can he do whatever he wants? Does he just have to stay in Philly? Do we know?
I'm not sure. I just know his hearing's in June.
Okay.
I think y'all should fix the crack in the Liberty Bell, too. It's been too long. Like, things can change. You know what I'm saying? Like, fix it.
It's part of history.
Now's a good time to fix it.
It's part of history.
Well, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your Rumor Report.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in.